Written in the Stars, coming to you live from courtside at St. John's College. It is under 15 action. It's time now for St. John College under 14A taking on St. Benedict's. And this is, of course, Group A action. The teams were in action a little bit earlier while St. John's in the group, and they came away with the win over St. Andrews. That was a 28-16 win. And other action in the opposite group, so St. John's under 15 beating Pretoria Boys High. So coming in the game, just coming off a loss, it's going to be a bit tough for them, but we'll see how it goes. I'm not alone in the booth. I'm here with a legend himself in his own right, Tsakani Ngobeni, helping me break down this stellar St. John's action.
Hey, it's been a long morning, but a morning filled with hoops, morning filled with turnovers, morning filled with rebounds. And the one thing I know that I've seen from the tournament so far is that the team that has the best tempo, the best adjustments, and the best fast break seems to come out with the win.
This is just a reminder to all our viewers at home that this is, of course, brought to you by Super Sports Schools in association with Puma and Shesha Lounge, and it's a non-spectator event, and if you want to follow all the action, it's on the Super Sports Schools app. It's the 15th edition of this tournament, and in this under 15 section, the reigning champs are St. Peter's, and at the under 13, say Sacred Heart hold that crown, and in the under 19, Michael House. But we'll unpack all of this as the days continue. Looking forward to what these teams can bring to the floor. This is a local rivalry. It extends because, you know, they're not geographically located too far away from each other. And always, you know with derbies is that you don't know who's going to win. It's a pride, it's a passion point, and it's always the team that, like you said, executes better. But when there's all that passion involved, you never really know which way it's going to go.
And when it comes to derbies, it's the team that got the last loss that comes in with a chip on their shoulder. So today, is it the team with the loss, with their last met, or the most recent loss that has a chip on their shoulder that is more refined and knows how to get engaged and execute the change they need to come out with the win?
We're watching the team warm up, but it's COVID times, and you know you can't say that it has not had an effect on school basketball and basketball in general. So conditioning will be crucial. Tournament for young kids, yes, they are fit, yes, they are fighting, yes, they are ready, but for the coaches, they are trying to manage the minutes of the kids on the floor. You know, you have to take conditioning into account because we haven't really been allowed, or none of the teams have really been allowed to train, and it's been intermittent depending on levels of lockdown, and that might have an effect on what we see courtside happening over here.
And we've seen it play out throughout the day, Q. The coaches haven't been playing the kids long minutes. They've been sharing the minutes and calling timeouts, whether it's strategically or whether it's to rest the kids, but it's to make sure that the sun doesn't also play a factor in wearing the kids down. So a whole lot of strategy, a lot more than you would expect from the coaches, but you see it being implemented and yielding the results.
Absolutely. And outside court, outside weather, wind plays a factor in shot selection, and you never really know what you're going to get from the young ones on the floor because shot selection not always top of mind, and trying to get some nice execution. And in between all of this, it's got to be fun. You've got to enjoy the game. And the referees just called 3 minutes as St. Benedict's late to the court might affect their chemistry before pre-start. Always believe that got to get to the court early just so that you can feel the environment and get into a rhythm, have the right mindset for a game. St. John's have been here for a while warming up. I think they already have an upper hand and an advantage.
Warming up, home court advantage. Yes, you do not have the crowd, but you do have a familiar rim. You know, and a familiar rim always seems to help. The pace, the way the court is laid out, you know whether the dead spots are or if there is a dead spot, but you're familiar, you're somewhere home. And if you're coming in late like St. Benedict's is, you're anxious, you know, and hopefully that anxiousness turns into urgency on the court. And if it doesn't, it means you're starting with a foot behind you.
Well, the one thing that both these teams do have are some coaches that have some playing experience. So on the side of St. John's is the young up-and-coming player, Emmanuel Bokwea. He's seen a lot of basketball. He plays, he's an admin, and he'll know how to manage this. And on the other side, Leander Nsibande, vastly experienced player, has played at the highest levels, played in the Basketball National League. So he'll try and bring some of that. He's also coached at the university level at Northwest University. Val has seen championships, so he'll know the tournament environment pretty well. And both these teams fortunate that they can lean on some of that experience. I think one side leaning a little bit more because St. Benedict's have a more experienced coach, someone who's seen a lot more basketball.
And Emmanuel, when you say Emmanuel, one word that comes to me is passion. The guy is passionate, and hopefully he's been able to transfer that skill to his kids. And when you say Luyanda's strategist, very calm, knows, and I'm speaking to him as a player.
As a player, yeah, I think
calm,
about it too.
Very knowledgeable, and that has also, he's been able to use that in his coaching as well. And you said he's got the experience of in coaching in the different institutions, and applying that to his kids should be nice to see, especially against a young, passionate coach and a young strategist.
You have tried your hand at coaching, and I'm sure you found that playing and coaching are two different kettles of fish.
Playing, coaching, and teaching is in itself just different, because you know how to do something, you know how to score, you know how to move on the court, but educating a kid, hey, this is how I want you to move, reason being why, and then the test being the game. They always end up doing what they want, but it's always basketball practice, reconfirmation of the skills that you're teaching them, and allowing them to actually the opportunity to get better every day. Like they say, it's written in the stars, so you need to bring the star out from inside them.
So absolutely right. 1 minute. We are just about to go into the tip-off. St. John's taking on St. Benedict's. It's a local rivalry, local derby, and should be fun because this is St. John's tournament, the 15th edition, and we're going to get to see this Group A under 15 action. And always pressure, I think, on the hosts and the home team a little bit more than the visitors. Expectations always run high because of the familiarity with the court, and words of wisdom now being imparted by Coach Manny. And he'll have a lot to say. He's seen this environment before and prepping his team who are well kitted out. And the coach Leander and Sabande setting the final strategy. A coach that does like to press, and he does like to push the ball up the floor. And he's, like I said, vastly experienced, and he'll know what to do. Will that late coming to the court affect the way St. Benedict start out? We'll find out not too long from now. And referees just setting up everything finally at the table. They called 1 minute, but I think just the final signatures and final administration before we get this all done. It's all for the kids. It's fun in the sun, and it's nice to see some mascots out here. Looks like they are not socially distanced, but they do have masks on. So that's the most important part, because we have to take care during these COVID times. Well, both these teams now ready. Just a little bit of extra time doesn't hurt the coaches at all. They get a chance to set everything up, and here we go. It should be lots of fun. Puma Basketball, of course, co-sponsors, bringing us this action. Nice to see them in the market. Puma has started to gain some traction all around the basketball world. And nice to have them here at the St. John's Tournament. Shesha Lounge as well, co-sponsors. And it's written in the stars, as they say. And that's the hashtag for the tournament, Sakani Ngobeni.
No, written in the stars. Every shot you shot, shoot it. And like you say, Puma, nice kicks, man. Have you worn some of them? Have you played with some of them?
I've been fortunate, I've been able to get a hand on a couple of Pumas, and I must say comfort, control,
exactly.
And they look good. Aesthetics always count.
No. Comfort is the first thing that comes to mind when I think about the Puma shoes that I do have, And thank you, Puma, for coming to the sport or the game of basketball. You've helped us out a lot.
We're getting ready to start. That's Peter Yanda wearing number 17 vest. David Picasso with 13 on. Offense with the home with the 5 vest. And that is all for St. John's on this side. Referee's ready. Baba Njila. Jump ball goes the way of St. John's. And we are off and running. First touch for Peter. Baseline drive. Reverse layup not there. One thing you can see visually already, Tsakani, is that there's a little bit of extra height on the side of St. John's, and could be a factor as the game develops.
This normally has been an advantage if I'm going anything by this morning. St. John's got size, it's got smart guards, and the one thing you look out for is the St. John's big guys are always well disciplined as to how they play defense and where they need to be on the floor.
Nervy start. St. John's looking for ways to get into that paint. Touched away again, some good defense by Babangila. He's certainly going to be that matchup, Peter and Babangila in the paint. Floater. Doesn't go. Rebound picked up by St. Benedict's, and they get a chance to run now in the open floor. Travel call.
And that's been the trend of the day. You can see that some of the guys look up to create opportunities for their teammates, but the nervous energy seems to take over, and they normally do the wrong play.
Pretty play. And opening score, St. John's on the board. Quickly up the floor in transition, and just like that, we have our first score, Chivanga for St. Benedict's. St. John's again on the attack. Pass goes astray, a chance to attack, blocked inside. Babangila with the ball. A chance again for St. Benedict's. And we have a look quickly at that opening score. Chivanga in the open floor. And the game is frenetic. Up and down we go. And turnover tennis is like what we like to call what we've just seen.
Turnover tennis, you can see both teams are a little nervous playing the turnover tennis. And composure. The first one to get composed and keep the other team unsettled will have the advantage going in.
Now the ball thrown away, picked up by Pongwe. Pongwe throws it right back to Babangila, who can't find a teammate. Back and forth we go. Just a little bit of nerves, I think. These players on the floor need to steady themselves. First substitution for St. Benedict's. In comes Judah Townsend, who is number 49. To the rim. They are going to call continuation of the referees confer, and yes, it is, of course, the score happening. David DeCasso, he's proved that already he's an aggressive point guard and, likes to get out in the open floor, gets by two defenders, steps through, and right-hand English.
Play to the whistle and play through. Just because the whistle was blown does not mean stop playing. And that was a perfect example of completing that play.
Up and in. Koza underneath for St. Benny's, and we're tied at 4. Guards proving that they're quite mobile. Mantata back into Tecasso's hands. Spins, attacks, this time blocked. Perhaps just a little bit overzealous, but nice spin move. Defense aware of what was going on. Another substitution for Coach Nsibande as he brings in Havelmeyer, who is number 16 for St. Benedict's. Peter going up against Babangila. That's the matchup I'm looking at.
That is the one I'm actually just noting right now, that these guys are physical and they are both all where they need to be at all times, under the rim.
Peter throws it away. Rebound, turnover again, and foul call this time. Referees have been busy. Makamanzi draws the foul, and that's well read by Takaso. Looks like they play through him quite a bit. St. John's baseline drive, foul committed. Babangila, I think that's his second foul. Got to have a look at the foul count. First time we're seeing substitutions on the floor for St. John's.
Both teams spending most of their time between three-point to three-point, causing turnovers. So, like I said, the first team to stay composed and keep the other team agitated will have an advantage in this game.
A double team almost pays off for St. John's. There's a timeout called now, our first timeout, and we literally can't separate the teams at all. A lot of pressure, ball pressure, bad decisions sometimes with ball in hand, but coaches can set the strategy, and they should. But it's exciting stuff. We're tied at 4, 3 minutes left here in the first quarter.
A lot of pressure. The one thing I would say, coach, spread the floor. Allow your teams to enjoy the spacing of the floor, because everyone seems to be huddled up together. And if you create that space, you can then see the opportunities and move freely, because right now everyone's moving as a herd, from one herd to the next herd.
Well, one place that St. Benedict's has benefited is out in the open floor. St. John's playing through this man, David Takaso. You see him getting in between the two defenders, and that beautiful right-hand English just off the board, and nothing prettier than that. This point guard has been outstanding, and the second time tried to get in between two defenders again, but St. Benedict's defense right there where they need to be. Timeout finally done. And with the adjustments on the floor, first look at Matthew Bradley. Where's number 12 for St. John's? First-time player. Coach Emmanuel letting me know that starting the game this year, so someone we should look out for. Turnover. Once again, Picasso gets by the defender. Passes to Bradley. And the foul called again, contact. We are in the penalty, which means that teams have committed 5 fouls, and every time there is foul committed, we go to the free throw line. Now, free throws can be very important, Tsagani Ngobeni, especially we spoke about the win factor, and Tekaso's been great, but he hasn't been so great from the free throw line.
No, he hasn't, but however, I like the fact that he's getting to the free throw line. That means there's pressure on Coach Leander's team, St. Benedict, to actually stop and contain this young man. And if they don't do that, their whole team will end up in trouble.
Empty trip, but into the hands of Tekaso, makes the pass. Nothing there for St. John's. Up the floor we go once again, and this time it's a last touch for the St. John's player. Feeds to the wide open player underneath, and again it's that man Nico Koza. 4 points for him, and gives St. Benedict's another slender 2-point lead. Looking for the foul call, nothing there. Ball into transition. This is where St. Benedict's have been great. Ball goes up, rebound picked up by St. John's. Takaso, he's been the standout player. Turns it over, Babangila. Again, up the floor, left hand.
You know, simple fundamentals. He knew that that's my strong hand. Well, that's where I have the advantage, and he took it straight to his left hand.
Townsend, that was beautiful play by St. Benedict's, and this time a foul. Townsend, right foot, left hand.
Right foot, left hand.
Gets the kind bounce.
Trying to ensure that coach does not yell at him for using the wrong hand. You can see he heard his coach's voice in his head as he was executing that play.
Omenzi Bongwe at the free throw line for St. John's. They need these two just to keep them in the game. He's, of course, running time, so clock will continue to run while the free throws are happening. That gives more emphasis on the value of free throws because the time is running out and you've got to try and make them. Empty trip once again for St. John's College, and St. Benedict's push the ball up. Koza again to his right hand. 6 points for that man in the first quarter, and timeout called right now. Fantastic play by Koza and St. Benedict's, and they've been brutal out in the open floor.
Once they get started on the open floor and they secure the ball and the rebound, they're actually very hard to stop, which is a surprise because St. John's is actually a good team when it comes to stopping the fast break or initiating a full court press. So the transition offense from St. Benedict is surprising me today.
The one thing we must note that this is St. John's under 14A, so you know the experience of them playing against a slightly older age group will help them, but you know we expect them to be a little bit more prone to mistakes. Well, we've seen some of that, but you know, stranger things can happen in basketball once you get a little bit of confidence and the execution starts working.
Keyword, confidence and basketball, because once a team gets confidence, anything is possible. So don't allow them to get confident. Stick to what your coach says and execute it on the floor.
Well, back in we go. Picasso guarded tightly. Almost stripped. And Townsend up the floor. This time misses on the rebound. St. Benedict's. Townsend feeds inside. Some lovely footwork. The countdown happening as Makamanzi's left-hand layup doesn't work. Picasso, chance to close out, but we have a look at Picasso being hounded defensively. Koza, the man, gets the steal, and it's Townsend who just couldn't finish that time. Koza being utilized defensively, not only just proving his value on the offensive end, but now being put on the opposing team's best player.
He has to, because someone needs to stop that bleed, because he's the Band-Aid right now. He's stopping it, he's the doctor, and he's the solution to the St. John's problem. That is David.
6 missed free throws for St. John's College in that first quarter. And you look at the score, 10 plays 4. And that is an area that I know they'll want to tighten up, especially as the game develops. So first quarter score, St. Benedict's under 15-10, St. John's under 14-4. And just about ready to start out the second quarter. St. Benedict's dominant in the first. St. John's had opportunities, especially at the free throw line, and something that the coaches can tighten up from the St. John's side. Starting out again with a similar lineup, and look out for number 66, Koza. He's been the leading scorer, 6 points for him. And Picasso was not on the floor now for St. John's. St. Benedict's attacking to the rim. They go, nice rebound. Ball picked up by Bongwe. Picasso. Chance to drive now. That's well blocked by Townsend. Looked like he got by the defender, but Townsend timed him very well. Ball pushed up. Koza, and foul committed. First foul for Tinyiko Makubela in the second quarter.
Townsend being active on both sides of the floor, getting a block, running the floor, and just being ever present on an offensive, whether it's a fast break, whether it's making an extra pass. So he's one of those utilities players that just helps you get things done from St. Benedict.
Certainly has had his impact. Havelmeyer. Empty trip for him. And free throw line has been tough going for both teams. Picasso. A flip, I don't even know how to describe that. A right-hand flip that exploratory, but it's a turnover ultimately.
And that's why you must always go with intention. Not intention to look good, but intention and purpose to score when attacking the rim.
Shoot to make, don't shoot to take, they say. Now it is St. Benedict's. Havelmeyer feeds down low. Ball moving well for St. Benedict's. In good position, nothing there. Back out. Townsend crosses over throws it up, a wild shot attempt. DeCastro picks up the rebound. He looks up the floor for Peter. Just no connection on that. Right idea, poor execution.
Townsend again misses the shot, but hurries back on defense and makes an impactful play. So he's always around the ball, making some sort of good contribution.
Koza, hounded, somehow gets the ball away. Good defensive possession so far for St. John's, but Koza strong on the right hand. 8 points to his total.
You can see with his head bobbing that the confidence is flowing and is starting to ooze off that young man.
Koza goes right, goes left, up with the right hand. 2 more to the total. Substitutions on the floor. Mantata in, and DeCastro going to get his first rest. Now it is Mantata. Gets by the defense, draws the foul, and had a chance for the continuation, didn't fall. Maybe he might be a little bit better at the free throw line. I don't know if there's anything that they can do. There's just so many environmental factors that can make free throw shooting dangerous or difficult right now. The sun, the wind, and let's not talk about the game pressure. Looking at the actual score, St. John's have been scoreless this entire second quarter.
And that's what pressure will do to you, Quinton. You rise up and you meet it, but I'm sure the St. John's coaching staff will make the necessary changes to give their boys confidence and get them back into this game.
Empty trip, but that's Peter. Finally gets St. John's College on the board here in the second. 12 plays 6, and we've got just over 4 minutes left in the second quarter. Travel call. Buckland commits the turnover for St. Benedict's, and ball has got to go out on the side. Mantata looking into Peter.
There seems to be a little aggression.
It's actually Bongwe.
Bongwe. There's an aggression coming from the St. John's side. As I say, they will make the necessary adjustments to allow them to come back into this game. And with that aggression comes urgency, and it's coming from their defensive plays.
And that aggression and that confidence will translate to the free throw line, where they finally make one. 1 of 2 for Bongwe, for Menzi Bongwe. Now, St. Benedict's. Mandata called for the hold. Another foul to the column of St. John's. Shot goes up, rebound underneath, and in it goes. Educated left hand. 2 more to the total. Peter fakes, up and in. Nice score. Getting a little bit more free-flowing basketball from both these teams. Full court press for St. John's. Wild attempt, the rebound though picked up. And then the second chance attempt picked up by Peter, who's coming alive a little bit here in the second quarter. Mantata looks for Bongwe. Now the baseline drive. Good feed. 2 more. Yanda Peter. St. John's on the charge back. They were scoreless throughout the first 4 minutes, but this full court press seems to be working for them, speeding up the possessions into the hands of Peter. Easy score.
Change of pace, rebound and execution has been the key factors to all the teams that have won today and have made the necessary changes to secure
Mantata off the steal. And we have a lead now for St. John's College, who've come back. They've come to life off some really, really great defense and poor recognition by the St. Benedict's players. And we're just talking about it, and it's actually unreal that we've seen the game flip-flop just like that in about 2 minutes worth of play.
That is the game of basketball, and that has been the theme of St. John's throughout the age group that it's played. You count them out, the coaches make one decision, and once they start pressing, the score looks as it does right now.
Oh, fantastic decision by St. John's to press up, put some pressure on the St. Benedict's guards, take away their transition play, and also force some turnovers now. See Coach Leander trying to space the floor. He's going to put the ball into the hands of ball handlers. Hopefully they'll recognize or just push the ball to the open spaces. But the St. John's press really effective and well utilized by the coaching staff from St. John's.
No, and on the earlier game, Coach Butler mentioned the aim of the press is not to just steal the ball. Stealing the ball is a bonus, but the aim of the press is to hasten and allow the other team to make bad decisions that they normally won't make. If you steal the ball, that's a bonus.
It's an extra bonus. Well, out the timeout. St. Benedict's push the ball up the floor. Again, a turnover. Mantata feeds ahead, and it's Pasipanoja who just can't hold on. Ball thrown up the floor. Pressure playing off now, and it's Peter who, quick hands and great awareness, able to dispossess Hovelmeyer. Ball. Eurostep did not go the way of St. John's. They do keep possession. Some lovely skills being shown here by these young men. And the substitutions on the floor once again. Hovelmeyer will take a break. In comes Byron Comley, number 12 on, but because of the foul situation, to the free throw line goes St. John's College. And if they were just a little bit better from the free throw line, the score line would be significantly skewed towards them.
So I think there's a lid on the free throw line when they're shooting on the basketball, because they don't seem to be able to convert anything from the free throw line.
Big time rebound. Comley picks up the rebound, passes it right back to St. John's, and two more to the total. It's Makopela this time.
I think the St. John's team is well coached when it comes to full court press, because the players know exactly where to be to utilize and anticipate the steal. And that's how they're able to get back into the game and then secure the lead.
Right place, right time as far as St. John's are concerned. Rebound again. St. Benedict's look rattled, and they don't look like they have an answer to this full court press. Comley. And that is how the half is going to close out. I've seen a spectacular fight back from St. John's, who trailed throughout this entire game, but they take a 3-point lead into the second half, and a lot of work to be done for St. Benedict's. They're going to have to figure out how to break that press, and for St. John's, it's just got to be more of the same. Where they can improve, though, is the free throw line. Other than that, it's been a spectacular fight back, and you like to see that.
Free throw line is exactly where they need to improve on. St. Benedict's on the other side needs to be able to find their composure and implement and look up, because none of their players are dribbling and looking up. Everyone's keeping their head down, and that's how St. John's got back into this game.
Well, it's going to be some stellar action. I'm not sure which way it's going.
Not without the farm. Water. Not without safekeeping. Distribution. Not without the wholesaler, the retailer, or the bank that backs them all. Dinner time. Not without business. Standard Bank. It can be.
Of the St. John's Basketball College Tournament, and it is written in the stars as the hashtag. And if you want to find us on social media, you can hashtag SJC Basketball 2021 hashtag written in the stars, and halftime score here at St. John College on Court A is St. John's under 14A 17, St. Benedict's under 15A 14, and we saw a turnaround from St. John College as they got more confident of their defense, and a full court press that really worked for them, helped turn around what was a 10-point deficit into a 3-point lead. That's fantastic work by them on the other side. And if you were the coach on St. Benedict's side, Tsakani Ngobeni, what advice would you have for your young team right now?
Spread the floor. Coming into the game when you inbound the ball, spread the floor. Make sure there's enough spacing. Keep your heads up. Don't look to make the long pass. Look to make the short pass across the floor and then the long pass, because that first initial pass won't be there. You can pass the ball back to St. John's and keep them in the groove that they've created in the lead that they found.
It sounds like you should coach.
I can coach, Q. I can coach. I'm all about the X's and O's.
Well, let's see if...
And then on the St. John side, stay aggressive, up the tempo a little bit. You saw that it unrattled them, so you want to keep them unrattled and don't allow them to find any composure.
Ball now up the floor. First possession of the second half for St. John's. Makubela turns it over. And just like that, so do St. Benedict's as the travel call on Ntuane. Makubela. Searching. Mantata. Draws the foul again, and point guards have been good for St. John's College. They proved difficult to guard. Both Mantata and Takiso when he is in. Ball turned over, picked up by Comley, pressured, throws it away. Mantata feeds back out. And Bongwe. Babangila, whistle for the foul. I think that's his third. Strong take, and Bongwe in a good position, dips his shoulder, and just can't get the finish. Nice start here for St. John's, who building on their slender 3-point lead. Maybe a change of wind might bring a change of fortune from a free throw line perspective. Empty trip this time. Bongwe missing both. Thrown up the floor. Townsend. Ball looking inside the key. Can't hold on. Chivanga. Another change on the floor again. More substitutions. Babangila off the floor. I think it was his third foul. I think coach has got to protect him from foul trouble, and there's something different being run here. Great anticipation. Mantata aware, and these St. John's College players, they are fit in fighting defensively. They're just aware.
Fits in fighting and engaged. Coached well, and that means they're able to execute on every coach's direction.
Makubela uses the screen. That shot short. Wide right. Chance now for St. Benedict's, who've struggled to double. Caught in the trap once again.
What I realized with that play right there, St. Benedict's has the ball, but no one is claiming ownership of the ball. Everyone's running away from the ball, and you break the press by running to the ball and staying aggressive.
Townsend feeds Comley. He goes up, and a little bit better execution, spreading the floor and then getting it back inside. Allows for at least a layup attempt and the contest.
And that's what you want to see right there. Confidence, everyone running to the ball instead of away from the ball. And Conley did that well, where he recognizes a gap, there's spacing, and we run towards the ball and then utilize the space to create for myself or for my teammate and put us in an advantage to try and get a bucket.
That free throw line, like you said, there's a lid on the rim. Townsend. He's going to pull from way downtown. Nothing there. Rebound picked up by Makubela.
I like Townsend. He's not shy of the moment, you know. He sees a shot, he takes a shot. and that's what you need. You need to be confident, especially when your team is down.
Calmly. Right idea, poor execution. Ball now for St. John's. Mantata. Lovely little floater.
Confidence, Quinton. That is a straight confidence. He ran into the trees but shot above the trees. That's what you want to see from a point guard. Aggression.
Now, St. Benedict's going to try and do the same thing. Rebound picked up Peter for St. John's. Last touch by St. Benedict's, and Buckland gets that last touch. More substitutions. Koza back in. He was red hot in the first quarter for Pennies. Strong move. Bongwe has been aggressive in the paint. Townsend up the floor, turn and fire, and nothing there. Fouls, Chivanga, free throw line. I do believe that this is where the game is going to be won or lost for either one of these teams. Chivanga goes bank on the first one.
So the first team to take the lid off the free throw line is the one that will stand a better chance as the game gets closer and time winds down.
Bongo, the rebound. Mantata gets by Townsend. And the turn of speed, just the change of speed by Mantata, well utilized to keep the defender on his heels and gets himself an opportunity at that free throw line.
You know, Koza from St. Benedict's had better luck on Mantata in the first half, but you can see that they've seen his pace, they've sized him up, and they now know how to attack him within the system and the flow of the game, which now takes away the confidence away from Koza.
Mantata can't lift the lid of the ring, but a lane violation committed. So he'll get another opportunity, maybe a chance to just find his touch. In and out, and this big time rebound. Pressured possession. Koza gets by, composed, nice pass, good finish.
The closer you get to the rim, the more the lid seems to not be there. So the guys need to make sure, score in the play, avoid getting fouled.
Chivanga, 2 points for him. That's really all coming from the composed play of Koza. Ball goes up and in. 21 plays, 17, 4-point game still. Clock starting to run down. Pressure now. Calmly in the corner. Throws it up the floor. Chivanga looked like a little body in there, but an easy layup for him.
Of course, easy body there. Use your body as a weapon. You use it. The ref didn't call it. It's fair play.
No push-off. Just a little lean.
Positioning. It's all about positioning and putting yourself in advantage to make a proper play.
Strong layup. Makubela gets right inside the paint. Calmly holds for Koza. A chance now for Koza to get inside, and that was the right play. He saw the lane open up, defenders didn't step inside, and a chance now for Koza to go to the free throw line.
The temperament of the game right now, both teams have a good feel for each other. They both can see, and both coaches have assessed where the other one's weaknesses are, and the players are actually playing towards that. St. John's is setting pressure. However, St. Benedict has figured out how to stay composed and beat that pressure. So St. John's needs to throw a different kind of pressure defense on them to kind of unsettle them again and find and be comfortable.
Also, from St. Benedict's side, they've got a better ball handlers on the floor, and guys who can actually handle just a little bit more of the pressure thrown at them. Koza misses that first one wildly and can't find his touch on the second one. Peter. Ball goes up the floor now as the game clock winds down, and just off the ball, Koza goes down, and there might be a little bit of concern, but that is the end of the third quarter. And it is St. John's under 14-23 and St. Benedict's 19 as we head into the fourth and final quarter. And players look on with a little bit of concern. And for St. John's, the passion of the two coaches Coach Manny and Coach Ngoza, very evident, and it's translated well into the defensive intensity that we've seen from St. John's under 14A team.
Not just intensity, but they've got purpose. They executing on that intense, you know, they're specific. Like you said, we were about to count them out in the first quarter, but they changed everything else, fed off the energy of their coaches, made that translate to defensive stuff, offensive buckets, points on the other side, and now we've got ourselves a ball game.
I don't know if it's going to be a point of concern, but leading scorer for St. Benedict's, and that's of course Nico Koza, who's gone off the floor. Let's have a look at what was happening calmly with the attempt getting into the paint, drawing the contact. One of their better offensive possessions coming from Koza, number 66, who's doesn't look like he's going to start this fourth quarter, but a good pass, and not having him on the floor, it really might be a big loss for this St. Benedict's team, and that was Mantata, who also has been consistent. He's been a leader, a floor leader, and has distributed the ball well. Fourth quarter underway. It's a 5-point game. St. Benedict's trail.
That was finishing off the third quarter. It was like 3-4 seconds left, and now we get ready to go into the third quarter.
They stopped the clock.
They stopped the clock when Koza went down with 3 seconds left. And you are right. It is a heavy loss because Koza is impactful on both sides of the floor, offensively and defensively.
Quite interested by the call that they made, because it makes no sense that this is a running time tournament. So the calls by the officials on the floor to not go ahead with this fourth quarter, quite interesting. We'll see how that gets interpreted a little bit later. I'm sure something the organizing committee will have a talk about, and you can see it's brought a break in play, and confusion everywhere, quite literally. The referees confer, and so does it give an additional bit of time to both coaching staff. And after that confusion at the end of the third, it is finally time to start this fascinating fourth quarter. St. John's under 14, 23. St. Benedict's 18. It's a 5-point game. We've got 8 minutes of play. And at the end of this, one will be the victor. Probably good pass, but it is just a little bit too much on it, as they say, for Chivanga. Decision making will be crucial, and coaches' rotations as well. Ball up for St. John's College. Koza, who's back on the floor now, draws the foul. And the man we haven't seen for a little while, and that's Dercaso. Where's number 13 for St. John College? Mantata feeds Dercaso, who's going to fire from the corner. In and out. It's Koza with the rebound. Koza looks ahead. A chance for a layup, and that was very poor execution, and just rushed by that man, Chivanga, who's been okay, but just a nervous start here to the fourth quarter for him.
I'm glad to see Koza back on the floor, but is Koza able to handle the front court? off St. David's by himself because they are talented.
Come on. Into the hands of Picasso. And caught in two minds. Gets called for a double dribble. More substitutions. Cromwell off the floor now. Townsend back in for St. Benedict. Ball. Attacking. Layup just won't go. That was Buckland for Benny's. Chance for St. John's. Both teams rushing on the offensive end, and just need to settle it down a bit. And this could be that fourth quarter pressure, you know, the awareness of the state of the game, and just rushing a bit.
Absolutely right. Every play more than ever counts now, and the guys are realizing that, but they're playing into that energy. You need to stay a little bit more composed and execute on coach's instructions.
Chivanga feeds Townsend, who tries to throw to Koza, and another turnover. Now, St. John's. Chance, well guarded, but Bongwe was that time. There's a timeout called on the floor, and I think the right time for a timeout is both these teams just unsettled and rushing the play on both sides of the floor. We haven't really seen any levels of execution from either St. Benny's or St. John's, so a chance now for the coaches just to try and settle down both these teams.
You know, direction, guys, this is what you give them. Guys, we're executing, focus, calm down. This is the play we are running. Offensively, defensively, this is the set we're in. So this is when you kind of reiterate, you know, the values of the team, what you execute in practice. And these are the times where you have to kind of enforce them to execute, because without execution, we just saw what happens. The guys are going back and forth, like you said, turnover tennis. They're just sharing the ball, not converting, not really adding to the bottom line of the game. So right now, St. David's, we need to be more composed. Let's get the rebounds, let's attack. And then St. John's, let's put the pressure on them, and then they use the power of their guards to kind of get more plays, more steals, and more pressure on St. Benedict's.
Well, St. Benny's with it all to do, and St. John's are going to continue putting on that defensive pressure. 6 minutes, all that separates the St. John College. And I said it a little bit earlier at the start of the broadcast that there's always pressure, a little bit more pressure on the host teams, especially when they are involved in the group games. You know, they want to try and get through group stages into the knockout stages of a tournament. And right now, home court advantage seems to be playing into the hands of St. John's College. See if we get a little bit more composure from both teams out of the timeout. Koza's gone quiet for St. Benedict's. Bongwe goes to the right hand, and Bongwe's been pretty good in the paint. He's drawn a lot of fouls, just hasn't been able to finish, but the fact that he's physical. The young man knows how to use his body and likes the contact, and gets himself to the free throw line. And the more we talk about the free throw line, I'm sure the coaches would not want to see the percentages when this game is done.
Percentages right now are very poor. Like we said, there's been a lid on the free throw line, on the free throw hoop, not the hoop itself, but they need to learn how to convert that and overcome that.
Back up to 5. Travel will get called. Once again, it's a turnover in Twane. Picasso fires. Gets it right back and still short on the attempt. Now a chance for St. John's to set it up. Picasso has been looking for it. Another three-point attempt. That one further away than the Picasso attempt. Mantata for St. John's. Finds Picasso on the other side. He gets inside, and the referees are going to call a push, but it will be a side ball. The guard play really coming to the fore right now for St. John's. Mantata and Picasso trying to attack the rim as best they can. Inside they go to Bongwe this time. Townsend likes the open floor, goes to his left, not there for him. Chivanga can't get the follow-up score. Koza to inbound. 5-second goal. Finds Townsend right underneath. In and out for the young man. Townsend turns, fires, and it is Koza picking up the rebound. He's going to go right at Peter. Scoops it up and in.
Smart play, smart position. Got under the hoop, faked him one side and scored on the other side. You know?
Leading scorer, number 66 for St. Benedict's. I believe he's into double figures. And they need to come to life. 3-point game. Oh, this is interesting. And we have a look quickly. Townsend, ball chased down by Koza now. Into the body of the big. He turns, goes to the hook shot, and lovely score.
It's all positioning. He used the rim there as a defender or another offensive play and used it against the big as his protection.
Free throw line for Mandata. Gets this one to go. Teams in the penalty already means that every time there's a foul, St. John's will get a chance to go to that free throw line. Chased by Chivanga. Finds Koza. Koza guarded by Mantata. Koza into the body of Takaso, and that's a soft touch layup. Fantastic.
Now Koza's, he's ready for the big moment and seems to be stepping up on it.
Mantata steps through. And back to the free throw line. We're going to have a look at Koza again in the open floor. Draws the contact, just soft touch off that right hand hook. And right hand dominant he is, but he's difficult to stop. Substitutions on the floor. Townsend and Koza off the floor, surprisingly, but for Coach Leandra and Sabande.
But there's still a deadly guy on the floor. He might be missing that free throw, but Mantata is also a guy who's not afraid of a big moment and knows the right play to make when the ball is in his hand.
Because the game is within 2 points, we do go into stop time here in the final 2 minutes. So this will factor in how things unfold, especially fouls will come into play now. And you find the teams might not push the ball up the floor as much, and they might settle and go deeper into longer possessions.
Yes, no, you should do that. There's no shot clock. It's wiser to draw the team out and force the defense to make a mistake instead of you forcing up a shot, which gives you a higher percentage and actually making a high quality play.
It's anybody's game. It's one possession when you look at it. And for these teams, I honestly think it's a personnel thing as well. So you have to look at the players that are giving you the most production. And for St. John's, it's been that number 8 man, Mantata. He's been the pivot. He's moved the ball well. He's been able to find some scores. He feeds to the right players at the right time. They might find some joy from Takaso as well. We're number 13 now. For this team, for St. Benny's, it's got to be that man, Koza, wearing number 66. Townsend has given them a little bit. So is Shivanga, but the ball has got to be in the hands of their primary scorer.
You named the 3 best players on the floor right now is Takaso, Mantata, and Koza. So if the ball is in any one of those 3 players' hands right now, if it's Mantata and Takasa for St. John's, they're going to make a good decision. If it's Koza, well, he's not on the floor right now for St. Benedict's, he's going to make a good decision and allow them to be in a better position.
Well, back in is that big man, Baba Njila. Maybe you give them some control on the rebounds for St. Benedict's.
Well, Baba Njila is definitely a force to be reckoned with on the floor, and they moved away with him the first 3 quarters, well, the 2 quarters. They've put him back there, and I'm sure he will assert his dominance now.
Pennies now need this score. 3-point shot, wild and long. Now, St. John's. Takaso. Makubela feeds Mantata. Mantata. Takaso. Taking time off the shot clock, and they draw Falsen to the free throw line.
Taking time off the shot clock. I think the St. John's coaches told them that, hey, move the ball around. There's no shot clock. Allow them to come to you, and then when they open up the floor, attack the basket strong. And you can see that that was what Takasa was doing. He was waiting for that time to attack the rim as soon as the lane
I'm
opened.
all for the strategy, but they just haven't been able to convert from the free throw line.
Quinton, we mentioned that there is an invisible lid when these guys step up to the free throw line that kicks every ball out, not allowing them to score.
Takaso misses both. Ball picked up by Chivanka but thrown away now into the hands of Takaso. Mantata holds it. Looking at his options. Takaso back to Mantata. Makubela holding the ball. Makubela goes up, and Babangila had no choice but to foul, and will send Makubela back to the free throw line. Most importantly, though, is that they have taken more time off, and I do believe that we are into the final part of this game. So if he makes just one, it makes it a two-possession game, and I believe it'll be a bridge too far for Benny's.
True story. But I am so impressed by Maku Watata's composure and making the right play every time.
And that is it. That is the end of the game. St. John's College hold on in a tightly contested affair. A 3-point win for them. I think that might be an upset for the books. The under 14A from St. John's triumph over St. Benedict's under 15A, and they pick up a much-needed group win. And so for St. John's, there'll be a lot of joy. For St. Benny's, it's got to go back to the drawing board. We saw a game that ebbed and flowed in between different lead changes, but ultimately it was the guard play, I believe, from St. Benedict's, from St. John's and St. Benedict's, but just on the day, the guards from St. John's College, the better players on the floor, and nice coaching moves, maneuvers, the presses from them. And at full time, it is St. John's 26, St. Benedict's 23.